like us. Okay, so when you adore Vitarag Vigyanta, that is real adoration of Panchaparmeshti. Am I loud and clear, Sonal? Samajh mein aa rahi hai baat? Okay, very good. Then he says, Kari Mangal Kari Hau Maha. This veneration is a great veneration, and the purpose of me writing this text is that everybody in the Samaj should understand this Vitaraga Vigyanta and come to the abode of Nija Pad. Nij means self, Pad means abode. Okay, they all should come to their own true self, understanding this Vitaraga Vigyanta. Is it not a beautiful Mangalacharan? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. And then he is bowed down to Namokar Mantra. So the essence of Namokar Mantra is brought out in this Mangalacharan. So we are doing Mokshmarg Prakashak. We are in semester 4. The recording is on. Thank you. And we have done first 2 chapters. I don't want to tell you what is there in first 2 chapters. You all know. The first one is a prelude. He's doing all the veneration. He's establishing the authenticity of the text and all that. And in the second chapter, he told us about the how the worldly order is because of the karmas and all those things. Now he's telling that in this world, there is only suffering. And real happiness is in Nijapad. Nijapad means in moksha, sukh, in moksha. Okay, moksha is our, see, moksha is a byproduct of coming to Nijapad. Okay, if you're worried about moksha and not worried about Nijapad means the self realization, self, the being in the self, then you won't get moksha. You may go to moksha in the form of Nigod, but not as a pure soul. Okay, so understanding the pure soul, only then you will get rid of all suffering. So here now we are in the chapter 3. Okay, those who want to read chapter 1 and 2 again, please read it. And then in chapter 3, we have the nature of suffering. He's psychologically, spiritually, philosophically, okay, emotions ko rakh karke, mentally, he's going to make you understand what is the nature of suffering. See, what you and I call suffering is not suffering. Okay, what you and I call suffering is not the real nature of suffering. So what is the real cause? What is the real nature of suffering? He's going to tell us. For example, if he's giving the example of a deceased person, no? Huh? Kya chahiye? Huh, ek minute. Sorry, friends. Sorry. So he gave the example of a deceased person. I'll give you in my style. For example, you get fever or you get a headache. So what you will do? You will take a tablet. Generally, people know they take a tablet and they try to get rid of the fever. But that is not the real way to get rid of the symptom, telling you that there are toxins in the body. Okay, any headache, any itis, itis means spondylitis, colitis, appendicitis, any itis, you know, you have so many these days, you know, names, all these fancy names. So that itis is swelling. So the body has caused the swelling so that nothing comes near it. It is in a healing process. And what we do, we are very smart people. We go to the doctor, we take a medicine to curb the swelling. That means what? The body understands that you are not interested in its language. And it will start collecting the toxins. And those toxins take a bigger form, and they can take the form of a tumor or any other cancer tissue or anything the body can happen, you know. So the fever is not a disease. It is a symptom that occurs when there is movement of the morbid matter in your body, toxic matter in the body. So the body has raised the temperature so that now nothing comes to it, and it does all the detoxification, killing of all the germs that are moving in the body. So that is a disease. You understand? So you have to go to the root cause of the disease instead of treating the symptoms. You understand? In the same way, in the spiritual world, we have more ragdvesh, we have kashai, we have man, vachan, kaya. They are all disease. They are not your normal self. They are not the true self, because in every birth, the package of these things keep changing. Right? If what is changing cannot be your true identity. So he says that you are treating the symptoms. Go to the root cause of suffering. You understand the example, the analogy that I gave you? So this will help you in helping your body also. And now we'll come to helping the soul. So first understand, now we'll go through this chapter in detail and understand what is the real nature of suffering. So when you know the real nature of suffering, then he is going to tell you the real nature of moksha sukha. And then you can start working towards it. First, our understanding. The both galat understand, and the deeper you go, the deeper you'll understand the real nature of suffering and the real nature of happiness. So when you understand both, then your wisdom will tell you, don't take to this, take to this. That means your jagrit chetana, aapki chetana abhi jaag gayi. Your consciousness is awakened now. Until then, there is avaran on our consciousness. There is avaran on our gyan. Jnanavaran, Darshanavaran. Understood? So how right understanding helps us to remove all the avaran. Avaran means all the obscuring that is happening on the consciousness, on the Atma. Is it clear, friends? So
yes,
this chapter is divided into 4 parts. In the first part, he is going to talk about Sansar Dukh. And in the this chapter is divided into 2 parts, Sansar Dukh and Moksha Sukh. This Sansar Dukh is divided into 3 parts. Karma ki apeksha se, which will go up to say 10-15 pages. And then he is going to talk from Paryaya apeksha. Apeksha means from the angle of karmas, and then from the angle of Paryaya, and then general understanding of suffering. Okay, so last class, we took the 3rd part of the first part, 3rd section of the first part on page number 70 in Hindi book. Can somebody tell the English page number, please? And I would like to continue from there and then come to the part 1 ka part 1.
Page 96, ma'am.
Yes, all of you please tune in to 96. You all know I have the English book, but I don't read it. I like the way Panditji has written and I read from his language. And because you don't know Hindi, I teach you in English the same thing as it is. Is it clear?
Yes,
so your language in English and my language may be a little different, but the essence is same. In fact, my language will be better than the language that you have it in your book. You understand? Okay. Yeah. Because my 35 years of studies and PhDs and all these things, my English is refined as far as Jain philosophy is concerned. And those who have written that, they know the traditional way, but they may not be very good at English. So you may have problems with their English, but the content, you should take it from the recordings. Is it clear, friends?
Yes,
Is it clear, friends? Okay. And if you know Gujarati, you can have access to the Gujarati Moksha Marg Prakasha. If you know Tamil, you take the Tamil Moksha Marg Prakasha. Okay. So whatever suits you, you do that. Keep 3-4 books before you read from everything. Take it in the way you want it. But take the philosophy the way Bhagwan wants it. Language you may take any way you want it, but philosophy should be the way Bhagwan has preached and propounded. There no mixing is required, should be done. Chalo. So in the last class, we saw about the first page of the chapter 3, and then we did they gave the example of the deceased person, the treatment and all that. And now they are telling that no living beings want to suffer, but yet people suffer. Okay. Thank you, Padma Priya, or whoever it is who is giving me the feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in the last class, we saw the 4 kinds of desires which are actually suffering. What are those desires? Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. You have to tell me. What are the 4 kinds of desires? You have to give me one name. What are those?
First one is due to the Vishay.
Vishay, pleasures. You have to tell in both languages. You are on mute.
Sorry, ma'am.
Saurabh.
Yeah, first one is due to the pleasures. Second one is due to Kashai. The third one is due to the appraisal of Pap Karma. And the fourth one is due to the appraisal of Punya Karma.
Now you have to make a correction in your answer. It is not due to Vishay. It is the desire for Vishay.
Okay.
The desire for Kashai. The desire that comes when there is fruition of Pap.
Okay.
And the desire that we have when there is rise of meritorious karma, that is Punya Karma.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Clear. So Vishay, Kashai by themselves are not suffering. But the desire that you have when you want the Vishay. Vishay grahan karne ki ichha. Understood? And when something doesn't happen according to our taste, we get angry. And that comes out of the desire sitting inside. So the desire inside is that hooded serpent. And a kundalini maar ke baitha hai. You know, that's hooded serpent, coiled and sitting inside, and time to time it will come out. Sometimes in the form of Vishay, sometimes in the form of Kashai, sometimes in the form of getting rid of the pain, and sometimes in the form of acting according to the Punyaka Uday. You understand? So that is why Parshnath Bhagwan, you have so many hooded, such a big hooded serpent. That means he's conquered all the desires and he's become fearless. Understood? And in Tantra, and in Ayurveda, they talk of Kundalini. So one Kundalini is of this Vishay Kashai desires. Another Kundalini is of wisdom, Gyan, potential, divinity sitting inside. It is coiled and it is there in your, they say, okay, we don't know, in Ayurveda and all, they say it is in the Mooladhara Chakra. It is there deep. Mooladhara Chakra is symbolic of the deep consciousness. So in the deep consciousness, the wisdom is sitting, but it is not awakened. So it is not awakened means it is as good as not having it. You understand? You have $1 million, but you have no access to it. So you cannot use it. So it's as good as not having it. You understand? So that wisdom is there in our deep consciousness, but that has to be awakened. And that will be awakened through Ratnatraya. Understood? And when that is awakened, these 4 kinds of desires will be arrested. When that is not awakened, these 4 kinds of desires will continue to keep the soul conditioned in the material world in different kinds of forms of births, existences. Am I loud and clear, dear? Everybody, do you understand? So all this is analogical. Hooded serpent and Kundalini, Mooladhara, all this is symbolic of very deep consciousness. All this happen in the consciousness, but somewhere they express it in the form of body, chakras, this, that. Okay, dear. So now we come to the conclusion of the first, this 4 kinds of desires. So we were doing that. It was incomplete in the last class. We'll complete this and we'll go to the first part. Okay, chalo. So now he is telling what the world considers. I'm reading on page number 71. What the world considers as happiness is not happiness. It is actually suffering. We consider it as happiness. Okay, like for example, you get $1 million. You consider it as happiness. Okay, you matlab we matlab the jeev. It is no you and we personal, so the jeev. Okay, if $1 million is happiness, then Chakravarti, who has all the millions of dollars, matlab the richest, most affluent person on the world, why does he renounce the world and go for spiritual upliftment? Shantinath, Kuntunath, Arenath, 3 Tirthankars were Chakravartis. They had millions, what to say, Vaibhav. Why did they show their back to it? If it was happiness, if it was not suffering. You understand? So what we consider as happiness is not happiness, it is suffering. He's going to prove it. He's going to prove it in the upcoming pages. Okay, so why he's giving the logic now? First of all, the jiva has the desire to enjoy everything. Okay, the jiva has the desire to enjoy, but does he have access to everything? Can anyone fulfill all the desires all the time or at any particular time? Is there any one person on this world whose all the desires are satisfied? He says no. Okay. And supposing, what to say? If you have even, you're a Chakravarti, you have access to all the material affluence. But simultaneously, can you enjoy all the 5 sense pleasures? You cannot know. Huh? You understand? For example, you go for a movie, you're watching a movie, and suddenly there is some disturbance. Okay, maybe your popcorn fell down. You were having a popcorn, your popcorn fell down, and you got down to take the, you got down to clean it or whatever it is. That time you miss some movie. So you want to enjoy the popcorn also, and you want to enjoy the movie also. Can you enjoy both the things simultaneously? When your upyog is in enjoying the popcorn, that time your upyog is not in enjoying the movie. So all the 5 sense pleasures, enjoyments cannot happen simultaneously. Okay, so when you're enjoying one, there is desire for the other one that is unquenched. So that desire is akulta. So even when you're enjoying one sense pleasure, the anxiety to enjoy the other sense pleasures remains intact. Okay, and supposing supposing you're fulfilling that, then again the third desire will come up. When you're fulfilling the third, the fourth will come up. So likewise, there is a series of paryay of desires that keep coming up in the jiva. The actual jiva is a silent witness to all these. The actual jiva means the real jiva is a silent witness to all this. It is not the doer of all these. But since Anadikal, it does not know about its own self. So it thinks that it is a doer of this, it is suffering, etc., etc. So all these 5 sense pleasures are not the cause of happiness or suffering. Unawareness of one's own self is the cause of suffering, and awareness of one's own self is the cause of happiness. You understood, dear? Understood, dear, everybody? So
yes, ma'am.
When a jiva does not know its real self, every moment it is in anxiety, and this anxiety is called suffering. Anxiety bolo, akulta bolo, vyakulta bolo. So the 3 types of desires, the first, no, vishay, kashay, and pap ka uday. All of you understand this language? Can I stick to this language, dear? Tamil speaking people, Malar madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Vishay, kashay, pap ka uday. Okay. So a person will have to exert to get rid of the suffering caused by these 3 kinds of desires. So his suffering may be reduced. Okay, but it cannot be completely uprooted. For example, you had the desire to enjoy a mango. You went and had a mango, your akulta got satisfied for that particular moment. But deep down, the desire to eat plenty of such mangoes is there. You understand? That is Anantanubandhi Kashay. You understand? That desire that you nurture inside is Anantanubandhi Kashay. You eating a mango is mild Kashay. Mild Vishay. Okay. So what he says, so the dukh is intact. Then he says that all living beings are suffering because of the first 3 kinds of desires. First 3 kinds of desires. But the 4th kind of desire will happen only when there is punya ka uday. Okay. Not all living beings have this Punya ka uday. Not all living beings are Tata, Birla, Ambani. For example, Ambani is a multi-millionaire. He has the desire to have another multi-million. So that desire will happen only when you are first a multi-millionaire, to have another multi-millions, more millions. Okay. So what he says, now this Punya that Tata, Birla, Ambani have or Chakravarti has happens because of Dharmanurag. Dharmanurag in the previous birth, they did. So they got that Punya. Because of that Punya, they got all the wealth. Now, because they did not have the Ratnatre, the desires are there in them now also, and it was there at that time also. So that desire is making them go on and on and on. Now, what is this Dharmanurag? Dharmanurag means fondness, delight, liking, appreciation, adoration of Dev Guru Shastra, Dev Guru Dharma. Adoration they must have done in their past life. How? I'll tell you. Supposing a Muniraj is there and he's on the spiritual path, but he is not a Jnani. He has taken the Diksha, but he does not know the spiritual, value. He is simply following the rituals and everything, the practices, everything is doing it. He's a Mithya Drishti. Okay. He's taking to tapas, he's taking to fasting, he's taking to prayer, he's taking to pravachan, everything is doing. And one day, know what happened? The king's wife with her big group came to do veneration to them. The king also came along with them. Looking at their affluence, he must have done a nidan, that whatever tap I have done, next birth, I should also get this kind of affluence. You understood? Huh? So he is having the stock of punya by taking to all the practices, but with the wrong belief, he got the punya. And he took to very heightened practices. So his punya also was sort of heightened, because of which he got affluence to all these things. His punya came to Uday now, and he's having access to all the material wealth. Friends, remember, I've told you earlier also, whatever goodness, whatever good health, whatever good family, children, prosperity you're enjoying today is because of the practice of non-violence in the past. And if any deprivation, poverty, disease, or anything that is not according to your taste in this life is the fruit of past karma, pap, himsa that we have done. Ahimsa includes all the punya activities. Himsa includes all the pap activities. Okay, so now that Muniraj, he's got the punya because of which he got this affluent life, and now he is having the desires to get more wealth, to get more access, etc., etc. Got it, children? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So because of Dharmanurag, he got the punya. Now Panditji is telling that not all Jeev have this Dharmanurag. Not all Jeev have this Dharmanurag. Maximum number of Jeev are in Papa Kriya only. Like for example, day and night the fan, AC, cooler is running in our house or not? Lights are running or not in our house? Mobile is running or not? Now from where do you get all the electricity? Hydroelectric power? Very few people will have the solar panels. Very few people will have the solar. Now that solar panel also you have to use the precious metals to have the solar panels also. I don't know the solar technology, but the precious metals are used in them or not? Now
Yes,
from
ma'am.
where do you get all the precious metals or the metal to make the solar panel, etc.? From where do you get the water, etc.? From hydroelectric power or solar power or whatever it is. Now, how many fish die in the dams and where these hydroelectric projects go on? So is that violence or not? So every moment we are doing violence or not? Tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Whereas the Muniraj who is following the 5 vratas, he is not supposed to use the gadgets, a current, electricity, etc., etc., etc. Only then he can be practicing non-violence even towards the microorganisms, the micro, the macro creatures in totality. Totality means from gross form. Subtle form is self-realization. Not having self-realization is subtle violence. Where, now I'll tell you one, where there is not Vitaraga Vigyanta, all are violence only. All our activities are forms of some form or the other of some violence or the other. We say ahimsa parmo dharma. Do we even sit for 48 minutes and do one samaik and practice non-violence for 48 minutes? Then we are doing pap bandh only, no? Then our punya quotient will decrease or not? You understand? So the more and more dharmanurag you have, you will put the brakes on papa kriya and your punya will increase. When you absorb in your soul, that time it is somewhere nirzara. And until then, you do all the religious activities, it is punya bandha. So in our past life, we did not take to the punya in the with the spiritual understanding. In our, to simplify, in our past life, we must have liked Bhagwan very much. We must have liked Ahimsa very much. We must have liked Jinwani or Gurudev very much. So this year, this Janam again, we got them. You like them, no? So you got them here. You did not like what they are liking. Bhagwan is liking Atma. You did not like your Atma, so you are here. Had you liked your Atma, liked matlab, had you adored? Had you adored? Adored is a correct English? Correct English? Had you had the adoration for the Atma, you would have been in Mahavidya Kshetra, enhancing your adoration of the Atma and going on the path of Gunasthan and going to moksha from there. Understood, dear? Huh? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, मैं हटूं, श्रीजा? क्यों लेट हो गई? कोई बात नहीं, आप आ गए तो मैं क्लास में चली गई. ओ, वहां पे दूसरा झाड़ू रखा, वो ले लो. इसको रख दो. वहां पे रखा, वो ले लो. Sorry, dear. Okay. So this fourth kind of desire will be there only for not all the people, few people. Now, he's telling that, see here, this fourth person, no, fourth person who has punya ka uday, for him, no, this, what to say, this fourth, we say that the fourth person is Sukhi. We understand that the fourth kind of person is a happy soul, happy person. Okay, but what Jinwani is telling is, supposing a poor man is there, a beggar is there. Okay, see, I used to give beggars things, but now I have stopped giving because I feel most of them are, I don't want to go on air. They are from the other community and they are amassing all that wealth to take to non-veg and to build up their community. So I'm very careful with the things I buy and from whom I buy and what I give, to whom I give. I'll give to my community people and I will try to buy from Hindus and Jains only things and help those people and help people who are vegetarians. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Let not our money, for example, in our area, we have two marriage halls. One is of the Jains, Shwetambar Jains, Gujarati Jains, and one is of the Christians. Okay, so now if you take a Christian hall, if you take a hall that is owned by the Christians, your money goes to the Christian community. And they use that money to build up their missionary activities and their community people. Whereas if you give it to our Samaj people, it will be used by our Samaj people to build up this community, to build up punya activities. You understood what I'm telling? So that way your punya will increase, otherwise your pap will increase. Got it?
Yes,
You get
ma'am.
me? I've given a big message. I hope you all get it.
Recently, our committee has opened a app, madam, Jain Mart. There you can purchase anything, madam. It's online only. So
Very good.
those who are interested, they can buy you from Jain Mart, madam.
Yes. So we should all do something to build up our community spirit. Only then the Jains can sustain themselves in this big, bad, mad world.
Moreover,
So
the
you
money
all-
should circulate within us, madam.
Yes, money should circulate within us, within our community. That is Sadharmik Vatsalya. Help them, build them so that they can get relieved of their mundane tensions and come to the spiritual part, some spiritual side. Okay. Okay. Chalo. See, there was one student yesterday and he wanted the hostel facility. One Christian and one Hindu, they have joined the Jainology course in the university. And they came to me to sign the letter for the hostel facility. So there was one column, vegetarian or non-vegetarian. He had not filled it up, the Christian student. So definitely they must be having all this. But we being pious Jains, he was scared if I write non-veg, so madam may not sign the letter, like that. And you know what I told him? Look, I don't want to impose vegetarianism on you. I'll teach you everything about Jain food and thought and everything in the class. At that time, you embrace vegetarianism out of your own will, that will be highly appreciated. But because of fear, now you're writing vegetarian, then afterwards you'll go out and write non-vegetarian. This is Maya. This is kapat. This is deceit. This is cheating. Don't do that to yourself and to me. You want to write non-veg? You don't think of me. You don't think of me. You think what you want to do, you do. Until and unless you realize that, no, this is not. Then he said, no, ma'am, because of health reasons, I try to follow vegetarianism. Okay, that's what he told. Then I said, look, you want to have vegetarian, you can't. Sometimes you want to have non-veg. Then you say out of, in a month, 30 days, 25 days, I want to eat non-veg. Somewhere you draw the line. So 25 days you're following vegetarianism. 5 days your mind may not be in your control. You may want it. So that and all you assess. I didn't say you will want it, so you write it. I will be liable if I tell him you write it. Karna, Karana, Anumodan. All the three. To do, to ask him to do, to approve of what he's doing, all three are wrong. But as a mentor, as a guide, I was guiding him. Then I told him, like, see, 25 days you lock, 5 days, then his conscience will be kindled that no, even these 5 days I can abstain. And then finally, one day he will take to complete abstinence. You understand? So awakening the consciousness is very important and not imposing things on people. Today, I may impose and make him do it, but tomorrow he may rebel and he may go take it more than what he's been taking. So that will amount to more kashai. So I was trying to heal him at the mental level, at the psychic level, at the spiritual level. I was helping him see things. And they were really appreciating how we were guiding them. So he said, I don't believe in Christianity, Islam. I want to know the truth. So I want to study in the department. Then I asked him, what are your expectations from this studies? I'm not going to guarantee you any job. All the Jains are self-employed. They don't come here for the job. They come here for the spiritual studies and for the metaphysics and for the textual studies. So they don't come here for the jobs. They're all well settled in life. Then they take 2 years and they come and study over here. Then he said, no, ma'am, we are also not expecting a job. We are here for knowledge. We are all also settled. We are into media house, publication, this, that. You understood, dear?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. So like that, you have to be good mentors, good parents, good citizens, good compatriots, etc. And you should not just teach by words, but your language, but your life should be teaching. Okay, you have to be true to your consciousness, not simply think something and tell something. I've done this means I've done this. This suits me. These are the reasons why I've done it. Okay, yeah, you should justify. You should be true to your conscious. You may get angry. You may fumble, fall down. Again, you have to rise. They say, no, to err is human, to forgive divine. So to err means what? We may take to all these kinds of desires. These are all errors that we make. Keep forgiving yourself and keep marching. Okay, accept it. Yes, I have this desire. I'll work on it. I will uproot it. Accept it. Don't say, hey, oh my God, why this desire has come? Why this desire has come? How dare it come? I am on the spiritual path. Arey, there is so much of garbage inside. All that Uday will come. So when the Uday comes, you should know how to handle it. So write down this formula, GIGO. What is GIGO? You all know what is GIGO. Computer language.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. So all these desires popping out is the garbage that is sitting in your satta, Mohaniya karma. This is how Mohaniya karma comes out in the form of these desires. Okay, now in 8 karmas, you have Gyan and Darshan. Wo aage aayega. Gyan and Darshan. When you awaken that Gyan and Darshan, your Mohaniya karma also is subsided and your Jnanavaran, Darshanavaran also gets subsided. Understood? That is why 5 years of Gyan, Dhyan, Sadhana, Shiksha, Swadhyaya is what we are doing. So we should thank our people who are floated this course. Have one Aho Bhav for them. Have Aho Bhav for the teacher. Have Aho Bhav for your family who supports you to sit here and study. Clear? Okay. Thank you, Mahindran sir, for the feedback. Mahindran sir was there that day when I was doing the counseling for these 2 boys from Singapore. He's come down to India. So it was really nice meeting him in the department. So whenever he comes to Chennai, India, he visits us and we really appreciate his visit, and he gets a whole lot of dried fruits, which I will use it for 2-3 months. And that by the time he'll come again and he'll get me more. What, Mahindran sir?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
he's
yes.
supposed to join the MA studies this year.
Yes, he's in the process of filing his application.
He promised me.
Yes, ma'am.
Even his sister Jayanti also promised me to join. She asked me, I said, you can very well join. Any doubt, anything, I can help you, I said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. She is still trying because now lot of
No question of
what-
trying, sir. You can join it because moreover, it's online only. No, you can join very well.
Ram sir,
yes,
Ram
yes,
sir,
I'm joining. Yeah,
Yeah, ma'am.
I'm
Yeah, ma'am.
joining. Yeah, I'm joining about my sister. Yeah, she is also trying. Yeah.
We need more Digambar Jain, sir, because we don't have any awareness in our community.
Yes.
And we are gifted to have Priya ma'am as our Sadguru.
Yes. Yes, that's true. Yes.
Ram sir, 3 months the lines were opened for online admission. Now the lines are closed. Now the university has put a rule that the candidate has to come to the university and fill up the application. You understood?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
we cannot help the people who are sitting far, far, far away. You have to come down and fill up the application. Or get one replica of yours and ask him to fill up the application. Okay. So let's see. Whatever. Now, let us come back. Okay, chalo. So understood where I am? Now what he's telling, the person with the 4th kind of desire, now I was talking about a beggar. He has, again from beggar, I went off where all I went and now I'm come back to the beggar. So the beggar, no, he has a desire. What desire a beggar will have? That I should get 2 morsels of meals, right?
Yes, ma'am.
One second. Sorry, friends. So that beggar, no, he has little desire. So only this much of anxiety he has. Whereas a person who has 1 lakh rupees, what desire he'll have? That he should get a few more lakhs. And a person who has lakhs, he'll have a desire to get 1 crore. By the time you get 1 crore, you will not even know that you've got the desire to have 2, 3, 4 crores. And a person who has 2, 3, 4 crores, he'll be silently nurturing the desire to have 10, 20 crores. And a person who has 10, 20, again, likewise, you multiply. Now you tell me, who is suffering more? The person who wants less or the person who wants more?
The person who wants more. Is
Right?
Yes.
So the
ma'am.
desire to have more is more suffering. But we don't consider it as suffering, no? We don't consider it as suffering, no? That is our ignorance. That is our illusion. We think it is like the mirage, illusion, that water is there at a distance. But when you go there, there is nothing. There is only more desires. Likewise, this happiness, this keeps on alluring us. We are never happy nobody can be happy in the material world. Unless and until they have trained themselves, they have tamed their desires, they have tamed their minds through spirituality. Clear? A child has no desires. It's always laughing, playing, happy, but it is innocent. It is not a jnani. It is in its natural state. Likewise, a wise person will be having the childlike innocence also and the wisdom of an old soul. So only these two people are really happy in the world. A child who has no desires and a Muni who has given up all the desires and has no desires. But the child is innocent, ignorant. So he is also not really happy, but he's in the natural state of happiness, always laughing. You won't believe it. Like I have a little child at home, the grandchild, and you take in front of her the toys. She's not delighted. You give her books and so much of happiness, uska chhati aise full jata hai. And she's so curious to know what is there in that book, what is there in that picture. That curiosity, that happiness comes from that jigyasa to know what is there, what is there, what is there, what is there. Likewise, what I'm trying to say is if you have this jigyasa means that curiosity to know, oh, what is a pure soul? What is a pure soul? What is real happiness? Then maybe you will reach it. They say, no, knock and it shall be opened. So when you have that desire to know the real happiness, oh, what the real soul is, how Bhagwan is sitting and meditating on it, why I'm not able to know it. And then one day you will know it. First, you have the desire for it. You have the desire means the ultimate desire, which will lead to desirelessness. Prashasta Rag, which will blossom into Vitaragata. That desire is allowed. No other desire is allowed in Jainism. आओ श्याम, आपके बारे में बात कर रहे थे. सबको जय जिनेंद्र बोलो. सबको जय जिनेंद्र बोलो. ताली बजाओ. सबके लिए ताली बजाओ. सबके ताली बजा के जाने का. ताली बजाओ. सब जन पढ़ाई करते ना. सबको हैप्पीनेस. सबको ताली बजाओ. जल्दी ताली बजाओ. ताली बजाओ. ताली बजाओ. ये बजाओ.
जय जिनेंद्र बेटा. जय जिनेंद्र.
ताई कैसे बोलती है? बस बस बस. जाओ. Yes. Today her Nanu is giving her a malish. Early morning sun bath, pigeon feed, and now her Mossambi juice and malish. Okay, so nature cure. And I'm this it is watering yourself, sun bath, vitamin, sunshine, vitamin. That is called Atapna in Jainism. All Muniraj do Atapna. So you want to be a Muni next life? Come in their way. What they are doing, try to do. They sleep on the ground, you also sleep on the ground. They have bare minimum things, you also try to have bare minimum things. They eat once in a day, you also try to eat once in a day. You can't eat once in a day, then 2-3 times have fruits. Just take one meal. If you eat like this, then maybe, see, if you eat once in 2-3 days, you will go to Devalok. Because in Devalok, Devtas eat once in 2-3 days. But if you eat 3 times in a day, 4 times in a day, who eats 3 or 4 times in a day? Animals and birds. So we'll be born as animals and birds. You understand? So what you do here, it will continue in your next life. So in your next life, you want to be a Muni, start all the Charnanuyog practices with the Dravyanuyog understanding. And your Karnanuyog will be taken care of. Karnanuyog means your karma theory will be taken care of. Karmas will be taken care of. You understood, dear? Okay. Okay. Chalo. So now what he's telling is, so you understand every line in this chapter is important. I can go on and on and on. I can teach this one chapter for 1 year. But somewhere we have to draw the line. I have to finish the portions. I can't keep on and on and on. So what is those who have more things, more desires, more laho taha loho. Eighth chapter of Uttaradiyan Sutra. As labh, gain increases, greed increases. The more you have, the more you want. And the less you have, the less you want, so less suffering it is. And you have nothing, you want nothing. That is the state of moksha. You have your own self, you want nothing from the outside world, you are in a state of desirelessness, you are in a state of consciousness, awareness. That state is moksha. That state is some. When you have these desires, you remain equanimous. You remain a knower and seer to them. That is samayik. Understood, dear? Okay, chalo. So now what he's telling is that suffering happens because of the desires and not because of the things you don't have or you have. That is the bottom line of this whole thing that we have analyzed now. You understood? So suffering is in proportion to the desires you have and not in proportion to the things you have or you have no desires. He's a happy soul. He's contented and he's on the path of spirituality. Whereas the Chakravarti, who is a Samyak Drishti, has everything. He's having everything, but he has no want. He has no desire. He knows all this is because of Punya Kaude, they don't belong to my soul. So even though he's amidst all the affluence, for him Nirjara is taking place because he's an awakened spirit. And a person may not have anything, but he's got immense desires. So for him it Mahaparigraha. It is more parigraha. A person who has less desires, less parigraha. A person who has no desires, coupled with the right understanding of the soul, is aparigraha. And aparigraha is bliss. Parigraha is suffering. But you and I don't consider parigraha as suffering, no? Oh, I'm a millionaire, my name's in the Forbes list will make me more happy. Getting so many awards will make me more happy. Did you see the this time the people who got the Padma Shri Padma awards in the Rashtrapati Bhavan? A lady who is not even wearing a blouse, a sari, no satisfaction. Look at the contentment, the simplicity in their life. How many trees that lady has built, not built. She has nurtured so many, recognized and honored by the government, by the Modi government. You understand what I'm trying to say? So they are following aparigraha or we are following aparigraha? Not from the spiritual point of view. We as Jains, how are we contributing to the spiritual growth of our own individual, community growth at the societal level, environmental growth? What are we doing? All our Shravak in ancient days were doing it by having 10,000 cows, by having agricultural activities and all that. Why we have to go only into IT and software and this and that? See, I'm not questioning you. We need to look at. I'm not questioning you. I'm not trying to impose anything on you, but I'm trying to give you a larger picture of the Jain culture. So the more you take to agriculture, your desires will be less. But if you mix technology and if you mix modernization, then there will be again endless desires. And when you spend time with cows in a Goshala, with the Indian breed cows, the touch therapy, healing happens. Healing happens. This is being practiced abroad. People go to the cows and they spend time with them and they do the touch therapy and healing is happening. You go and Google. Nothing I talk on my own. Is it clear, friends? Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Anybody has experience of what I'm telling? Any exposure of what I'm telling? Who will second what I'm telling? Who will debate with me right now? Thing that you don't agree with, you can talk. Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, I'm not going to debate with you. It's not that I don't agree. It's just that I want to share that once the possessionless comes, we restrict the material, this thing, the spiritual growth comes automatically. You know, that's the next step actually. And
Yes.
whether you want it as a spiritual growth or not, it becomes part of the next process. And then then all the benefits of it comes automatically without you knowing. You don't have to put a name to it actually.
Very good. Very good, Shobha madam. That reminds me of Dharma Bhavana. It says, Yache surataru deya sukh, chintit chinta ren. Bin yache bin chintiye dharma sada sukh den. Like if you go to a kalpa vraksh, surataru means a kalpa vraksh, chintit chinta ren. You have to do some wish. Only then the wish will be granted. But when you take to dharma activities, Gyan, Darshan, Charitra, Tap, you don't have to wish that this should happen. It opens the way for further growth. And this I'm talking out of experience of my Varshitap now. The more and more I took to these studies, the more and more I became committed to these studies, the more and more I wanted to pursue the practices that my studies are telling me, automatically detachment from the outer world developed. The other day I told in the class, you know, there are 17 of my neighbors in my building where I live. Not a single day I peep into anybody's house and talk to anybody or find out what they are doing. That hi, hello generally is there when we meet them, when we just, run into them. Otherwise, no. Second, my relatives, I have my relatives in Chennai, at least 24 of them. I've hardly visited them in 5-10 years. They call me, all my students also will tell, please, ma'am, ghar aana, ghar aana. I tell you, no, na, ma'am doesn't go anywhere. Even my relatives, I tell them, you call up and come, I'm open for you. But expecting me at your place, you do tap, you do gyan dhyan, you need me in midnight, I'm there. Ek social visit karke, hi, hello, what movie you saw, what food you cooked, nothing. I was on Facebook, I've detached from Facebook also. No time, energy is drained out. Who has that energy? Who has a time for all? If I spend my time over there, how will I read all this? How will I enjoy what is told by the great acharyas? They are my friends. These books are my friends. These acharyas are my friends. So Deva Puja Guru Pasti, Swadhyay, that leads to Sayam. That leads to Tap, that leads to Dan. Gift yourself. Dan means gift yourself the divinity and the care. Is it clear, friends? Okay, now they're telling that Narki Jeev means the hellish Jiva, they are suffering, Dukhi, and Devata are Sukhi. This is what we think. Okay, where can we find that quote, please? Which quote, Shobha madam? Dharma Bhavana.
You just said about Dharma.
It is there in the Bara Bhavana, ma. Raja Rana Chhatrapati, you did know?
Oh, Barabhavna Anshilan.
Not Anushilan ma. When you did MA Jainology, I taught you 2 sets of Bara Bhavna, Doha, no couplets.
Yes.
In that first set.
Okay.
Raja
Right.
Rana Chhatrapati is the Anitya Bhavna. Very simple. And Bara, I gave you that. You see there, you will get it. Otherwise, you ask me, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All the 12. Yeah. Okay. So, Naraki Jeev are having immense kashai. They are having suffering. No, Upapka Uday is there. And they want to kill each other. They want to take revenge. So, for them, there is immense kashai. But Devata, no, they have mand kashai. But Devatas are having desire. See, I'll tell you one thing. In the human world, if you are a millionaire, you can become a multi-millionaire. Your status can change. But in Devalok, no, when you are in one particular Devalok, one Riddhi means one Vaibhav, you are fixed. You will be looking at the Riddhi of other Devatas and you will be jealous. Oh, had I done more Punya, I would have gone that Riddhi. I have only this much Punya, so I have only this much Riddhi. So that desire for more Riddhi, looking at other Riddhi Wale Devta, makes these Devta also have the desire. So they are also having that suffering caused by the 4th kind of desire. Whereas in Narak, it is a 3rd kind of desire, Kashai and Papka Uday. There no Vishay Ichha, but Devta have Vishay Ichha, sense pleasures, enjoying the sense pleasures. So in Devalok, 1st and 4th is paramount. Paramount means predominant. And in Narak, the 2nd and 3rd is predominant. Is it clear? So what they're telling is, so if you have Mand Kashai, then you have little desires, which we call it as happiness when compared to the more suffering. I gave you that example. No, supposing you have 105 degrees of fever. The next day it is reduced to 101. Then I ask you, how is your health? Kaisi hai tabiyat? You say, theek hai. So theek hai means what? When compared to 105, 101 is theek hai. But is it your normal temperature? No.
No.
When compared to normal, it is not theek. Arogya is desirelessness. But when compared to that, having less desires is theek hai, 101 fever. And having more kashai, more desires is 105. You understood the example? Understood the example, dear? Okay. So we consider Devata as Sukhi, multimillionaires as Sukhi. It is an illusion. It is a myth. Because they are also having the 4th kind of desire. Now coming to the last, go to the first part. So all these desires happen. See, that desire also is not the cause of suffering. They are happening because of 3 things. Mithya darshan, that is perversion. Agyan, that is ignorance. And asayam, that is unself-restraint, non-restraint.
Can you repeat it slowly, ma'am?
Mithyatva perversion. It is given in your book. Mithyatva perversion, perverse attitude, perverse outlook, wrong understanding of reality. Second is agyan, that is ignorance of reality. And asayam, non-absorption in the reality. So that is the cause of the desires. These 3 are the cause of the desires. Now, the second part. The desires are all of the nature of anxiety. And anxiety is suffering. Now come. You don't want suffering. So get rid of anxiety. You don't want anxiety, get rid of desires. You want to get rid of desires, get rid of these 3. Understood? So this is the nature of the suffering. Now, what are these 3? We are going to look at it now. Got me, dear children of Jinwani? all humble students of Jinwani. Have you got it? Do you want me to repeat what I told just now?
Ma'am, I have a
Saurabh, sir,
question.
boliye, Saurabh.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
If we are saying that desire is dependent on the three factors of mithya darshan, ignorance, and non-self-restraint, then why is it that our primary focus is on working on reducing the desires rather than correcting the three factors that are influencing the desires?
Very good. That's what checking the desires is third step, charitra. That is, it should be preceded by Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan. Understood?
Yeah.
Checking the desires is the third step. But in the first step, if you try to check the desires, maybe you will have Manda Kashai, but you can never reach the state of Akashai.
Okay.
That Manda
Okay.
Kashai, if you check the desires, you will go to Devalok. Maybe you will get real peace, not real, momentary peace here.
Okay.
But again, that momentary peace is real peace. If you take, then that is again mithyatva. If
Okay.
you mistake that peace as real peace,
Yeah.
Manda Kashai ka peace as Akashai ka peace, then that is again perversion, mithyatva. You will go to
Yeah.
Devalok. You will go to
Yeah.
Devalok. After that, you will go
Right.
to back to ego. You matlab that
Right.
jeev.
Okay.
And then you remain in the cycle only. I'll give you
Right.
one small example. See,
Sure.
in the material world, looking at scenery, clapping hands, enjoying things is ashubh. Going to the temple, you're looking at the beauty, dancing and clapping over there, singing all bhajans, doing, oh, please take this bhajan, it's so beautiful. So what are you nurturing? You're nurturing rag only.
Yeah.
So there also you were doing ashubh rag. Now your rag is shubh, but you're not knowing the signs of vitaragata. So you will go to Devalok. If you do ashubh ka rag, you'll go to Narak. If you do shubh ka rag, you'll go to Devalok. And from Devalok, you'll go back to Nigod. From Narak, at least you have the chance to come out to Tiryansh Gati. Going to Devalok, you go back to the micro level.
Yeah.
It's more dangerous.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Only people are in the, out of 70 people, we were 27, 28. Now only 13 people, where all have vanished. May Chow gone, Raj gone, Yugdaga gone. What happened to our, कहाँ गए पता नहीं. मोक्ष चले गए क्या सब लोग? महाविद्य क्षेत्र चले गए क्या? I'm not happy with the class. Not Shanka bana raha hai. Okay, dear. Okay,
Thank
I'm
you,
not
ma'am.
happy with the class, dear. Please somebody do something. So this part is okay. I'll repeat this part and go to the next section. First of all the mithya darshan, agyan, that is mithya gyan, asayam is mithya charitra. And we don't even know that these three enemies are sitting inside. They are the real foes. These three are the real foes. Okay. And desires are all anxiety. See, when you have tremendous desires and anxiety, your BP will increase. The cells, become stressed. And that is when you have BP, sugar, cholesterol, diabetes. You understood what I'm trying to say? But you should not take to Dharma Dhyan to cure your BP, sugar, diabetes. They get cured on the way. But for that, if you do Dharma Dhyan, then again, you're nurturing mithyatva. You understand? This is a very important segment of this whole chapter. How nicely is analyzed, I can't but stop adoring Pandit Todarmalji. How beautifully is written every line systematically. He's himself raising the questions and giving the answers, understanding the human psychology. What they teach in psychology, we don't know. The world wants all these things. You all study and give it to the world. All of you have small groups and teach them. The way I'm teaching you, the way Jinwani is teaching us, you all go and Jyot se Jyot jagate chalo. Prema ki Ganga bahate chalo. And first of all, happy Independence Day.
Same to
Tomorrow
you,
is Happy
ma'am.
Independence Day. And may we all be really independent.
Yeah.
The other day I was teaching in my class that having the 5 senses is handicapness. Not to have the 5 senses. To be Siddha Bhagwan is to be really independent. Swadhin. Swa ke adhin. Okay? Yeah. So now I'll request you all to come to the first part of the chapter. संसार दुख और उसका मूल कारण, page number 46. Very beautiful discussion is to follow. Have you all taken it? What is the page number in English, please tell? Wi-Fi
64,
नहीं चल
ma'am.
रहा है? अच्छा. Okay. So what is the page number, Saurabh?
64, ma'am.
Yes, I
Root
hope you
cause
all
of
have given
misery.
the 64 page number, and we'll quickly read this 2 pages now. Okay, so first one, what is suffering? From the karma angle. So each and every karma, he is going to look at it from the point of view of happiness and suffering. So first he says the root cause of all suffering is mithyatva, agyan, asayam. Can I stick to these 3 words? Mithyatva is mithya darshan, agyan is mithya gyan, and asayam is mithya charitra. Now, these happen, these 3, first of all, because of darshan mohaniya karma, you don't know the tattva, you don't know the jiva tattva, you don't know the nature of jiva tattva. So that is mithya darshan, perversity. You don't have the knowledge of reality, and you consider reality as something else. And because of that mithya darshan, okay, and because of the kshayopsham gyan. See, you and I have more gyan than the children. You and I have more gyan than a cockroach and an ant. So that is called kshayopsham gyan. Kshaya upsham. Kshayopsham. You all understand kshayopsham? If you don't understand, if you ask, I will tell. The English word for kshayopsham is partial kshay, partial subsidence. Subsidence come destruction. Okay, I don't want to use this big term. I'll give you the example. There is a glass of water which is muddy. You keep it to rest for some time. There is partial subsidence of the mud, that is called upsham, and the bhav that you have is called upshamik bhav. Upsham in the karma, upshamik bhav in the jeev. Then you shake the glass a little and you throw away a little mud. So that is shay, partial destruction, and then partial subsidence. So that is called kshayopsham. Kshayopsham in the karmas, kshayopsham bhav in the jeev. Then all the dirt is gone out of the glass. So that is kshaya. And what you get is the pure water. So that pure water is kshayik bhav and kshaya of the karmas. And that water was actually pure only, but it was not potable, it was not drinkable, usable. Right? So that pure water is Shuddhatma. But all that mud, no, is the karmic avaran, is the karmas. So you have to see the water as pure in your gyan, in your darshan. And then you experience that pure water. Then all the karma, muddy water, kshaya will happen. You understood? The analogy you all understood. Is it helpful?
Yes.
Huh? So in
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
the glass of water, the water is pure. Like that, our soul is pure. But it is not fit for moksha. You have to remove all the impurities. Even one drop of mud, one drop of karma is impurity. You will be in Sarvartha Siddhi. Again, 33 Sagropam, you have to be there, then come back, be a human being, all that, and then go to moksha. But first of all, understand that you are pure soul, pure water. Water is H2O, like that Atma is Gyan Darshan, Sukh, Virya, etc. Okay, so now what we do, because of that Kshayopsham Gyan, but it is not Samyak Gyan. So that Gyan is called Agyan. Supposing, I'll give you one example. You have multiple degrees. You have multiple degrees. You are a scientist. You are a genius in the material world. Is it a guarantee that you will get Ratnatraya? But on the other hand, there is a Muni who knows only Samiti Gupti and he is following it correctly. He absorbs in the soul and he goes to moksha. So who is a Vigyani? जो आत्म ज्ञान करता है वो ही real scientist है, soul scientist. All our Tirthankars are spiritual scientists and they gave us the highest Vigyan by which the universe is governed. So such beautiful Jainism, you know, I can't tell you how much I adore, admire, delight in being a Jain. Okay? Chalo. So because of this Agyan, the Kshayopsham Gyan is there. But that Kshayopsham Gyan is with the Mithyatva. So that is called Agyan. And then whatever Charitra Moha Uday is there. So Kashai is there. Asayam is there. No self-restraint, no absorption in the pure soul. So because of these three things, whatever we know is called Mithya Gyan, Mithya Darshan. Mithya, it is Agyan. Clear? So these three are the root cause of suffering. Now he's going to demonstrate with reference to each karma. With reference to each karma, he's going to demonstrate how these three are causing the karmic bondage and how these three are the, and how that karmic bondage and these three are the cause of suffering. Okay. Now, first he is going to take Jnanavaran and Darshanavarnya karma. And he says, this Jnanavarnya, now listen, you and I have Jnanavarnya, Darshanavarnya ka Kshayopsham. So we are able to understand, sit in these classes, understand these things. Okay. But a person may not have the Jnanavarnya, Darshanavarnya ka Kshayopsham. He may not understand all this. And he is blindly taking to the rituals, thinking that he will get liberated. No, he is doing Punya Kheti. He is only going to harvest the Punya Karma and not on the path of moksha. Now let us take. Ho gaya, Jai. Okay. Now let us take the first one, Mithya Darshan. Because of this Mithya Darshan, Agyan and Asayam, all the three together, he does not have the Bheda Vigyan, Vivek, wisdom to differentiate between the pure soul and the Para. He does not have. He thinks I am a Atma and the Sharir, the body, is the Pudgal and I am born in Manushya Paryay and this Paryay is me. Supposing I ask you, how old are you? You'll say, I am 20 years old. I'm 30 years old. I'm 40 years old. That means what? Your body is 40 years old, but you consider that you are 40 years old. If you think you are Atma, you will say, I am Anadi Anand. But if you consider yourself as a body, you will say that I am 10-year-old, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, I'm this, I'm that, etc. Understood? So this Paryay of human Paryay, you say as Swa. I'll give you one small example. Ask a child, what is living thing and non-living thing. Give examples. What examples it will give? It will say human beings, dogs, cats are living, table, chair, fan are non-living. Now the same question I have asked at the university level. I have asked at the Paramagam level. Give me examples of living thing and non-living thing. Then he'll say, I'm living thing, table, chair, and all these are non-living. Monkeys, dogs, cats are living. I am, and these are non-living. So as a child, we gave the same example. At the university level also, we give the same example. That means we have not grown up intellectually. As even children understand this small example, no, that I'm a living being, table, chair are non-living. So what is the difference between that child's understanding and our understanding? So we are physically grown up, but intellectually we are all dwarfs. We may be intellectual giants in the material world, but in the spiritual world, we are all dwarfs. Bankrupt ka malum hai? Devalia nikla hua. You all know bankruptcy ka meaning, no? Kai tu ki tanga. I've taken crores of rupees from somebody, I'm not going to repay. I'm bankrupt. Likewise, we are all spiritually bankrupt. And we claim to be tall, intellectual giants. This is called Vakra Jada Buddhi. Vakrata, this is Mayachari. So deep-rooted all this Kashaya are in our consciousness, in our psyche. Now what they are trying to tell us is, understood? So now in Tattva Gyan class, how you will differentiate between Jeev and Ajeev? Looking at this page, how you will tell what is Jeev and what is Ajeev?
Ma'am, the bearer of knowledge.
Conscious and non-conscious, madam.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Ram sir, wait. Saurabh started talking, let him finish.
So the bearer of the guna of Jnana and Darshan would be Jiva. And the bearer of characters of like color, smell, Varna Gandhara Sparsh would be non-Jiva.
You can simply say that soul is Jiva, body is Ajiva.
Okay, ma'am.
Karma is Ajiva. Bhava karma are Ajiva. Moha raga dvesha are Ajiva.
Ma'am, I have a question on this, is that when it becomes a subject of discussion, most of the people don't have that basic differentiation or understanding about the differentiation between Jiva and Ajiva. So when we bring out this subject in this manner, they think that this is not communicable or it's not understood by vast majority of people. They would say, if you talk about, as you mentioned, if you say man and monkey and cats and dogs are Jiva and table and chairs and all are non-living, so that becomes more communicable and understandable as opposed to what we are talking about here. What is your feedback on that?
See, first of all, their time has not come to understand the right things. So they will be doing all kutark.
Right.
Okay. It is so very obvious that the wire is not electricity.
Yeah.
Your mobile is the hardware and the charge in it, the software in it is different.
Yeah.
So this body is a hardware. So you have to immediately tell them what is the difference between you and a dead body.
Right.
Right? There the software is gone.
Yeah.
The hardware is there, what to do with it. So it is so very obvious, common sense.
Yeah.
So you have to talk to them in this language.
Okay.
Giving them examples of everyday experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So their inference is wrong.
Yeah.
They are not able to infer that the living person is living because there is a consciousness, a soul, or any energy that is moving it.
Yeah.
Their inference is wrong. So you have to tell them about inference. Everything is inference.
Yeah.
Whatever gyan that a Chadmast has is all Anuman only. It's all Paroksha only. Mati Shuddh is all Anuman. Inference. Pratyaksh will happen only in Keval Gyan.
Right.
So in our inference, what is indirect to us, we have to make it direct. Then our inference becomes right and our Gyan becomes right. And in that Anuman, we create the Bhagwan Atma, and one day the Bhagwan Atma becomes direct to us.
Right.
But everything is based on inference, even in the material world, even in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
They are not able to infer. So you have to give them the logic by which they can infer.
Sure.
Understood? So you have
Thank
to
you, ma'am.
go step by step. Logically,
Yeah.
you have to go step by step.
Yeah. Thank
So
you, ma'am.
you have to understand their logic and break that logic by giving them a sound logic, which appeals to their intellectual mind. But if that person is bent upon giving you kutark, leave that person. Don't spoil
Okay.
your relationship. You tell him, okay, you are right. Fine. Thank you. Sorry.
Right.
You take the defeat. No problem. That person is not mentally, spiritually ready now. You can't
Yeah.
help him.
Yeah.
You can't help him. And you'll be spoiling your relations. Try to help him if he's ready. If he's
Yeah.
not help him, try to help him in correcting his Charnanuyog.
Sure.
Understood?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
So we are born as human beings, but we are not human. Now I'll ask you, what is your gati? What is your gati? What you will say? Char gati mein, what is our gati?
Manushya
Okay. Now you are 50-year-old. Before 50 years, 60 years, were you Manushya?
No.
Will you be
Maybe.
Manushya in the
Don't
next
know,
birth?
ma'am.
Okay. You
Don't
don't
know,
know.
ma'am.
You were not human. You will not be human. Now tell me, what is your gati? So now listen to me very carefully. Whenever any such question is asked, you should give two answers. From Manushya Paryay Apeksha, I am Manushya Gati. From Atma ki Apeksha, I am Siddha Bhagwan ke Jati ka. I am beyond Gati. Understand? I go to different students' house. Do I belong to any house?
No, no,
I go to my neighbor's house. Do I belong to any house?
no, no.
Likewise, we go to different gatis. They are like different existences, houses. We don't belong to anybody. हम कोई गति वाले हुए नहीं. So Manushya Gati is yours, and at the same time, it is not yours. Two contradictory reals in the same at the same time. This is Anekantvad.
So
You are
Manushya
eating-
Gati, and what is the other? From
Cha-
Manushya
Panch
Gati, you are
Gati.
Manushya.
From the body point of view, you are Manushya Gati. But if you consider soul point of view, the soul is beyond Gati. The soul is beyond Gati. Bottle का ले ले. Bottle का ले ले. गरम करके फ्रिज में रखा हुआ. हाँ, ये लो. ये लो. नहीं चाहिए. क्या चाहिए आपको? balls चाहिए, ले लो. जा. हाँ. Understood, dear Sonal? Understood? Now I'll ask you, what is your jati? 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sense. एक इंद्रिय, दो इंद्रिय, तीन इंद्रिय, चार इंद्रिय, पंचेंद्रिय. Had you not
Chendriya.
attended this classes,
Panchendriya.
you are Panchendriya. Now Panchendriya is of the body or of the Atma?
Of the body.
Body.
आत्मा की कितनी इंद्रियां हैं?
No.
Atindriya.
Atma is Atindriya. So Siddha Bhagwan Atindriya. So I am like Siddha Bhagwan. So I am Atindriya from the soul point of view. Always measure yourself with Siddha Bhagwan. Siddha Bhagwan is any gati? No, I am also no gati. Vyavahar mein gati, yes. Real mein no gati. Jati, Siddha Bhagwan, no jati. Atma no jati. But you are in jati, no. So व्यवहार में मनुष्य की अपेक्षा से, बॉडी की अपेक्षा से, I am in पंचेंद्रिय जाति. Okay, what is your kai? Prithvi kai, Appa kai, Tehu kai, Vayu kai. What kai are we in? Tras kai. But Siddha Bhagwan is what? A kai. So Atma is not Tras kai. Body is only Tras kai. You understood? You understood what I'm trying to say? Hello? So what
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
to do is you have to focus your you have to shift. There has to be a complete paradigm shift in your outlook. All the while we were thinking body pariyai is my pariyai. But now I understand my pariyai is different from the body pariyai. Then when you keep doing this Bheda Vigyan, your Mithya Darshan will go. Your Kshayopsham Gyan will increase. Your Mohaniya Karma ka Kshayopsham will increase. Agyan will go. And Charitra will come. Your self-restraint will increase. And then only all the desires will go. Understood, dear? I cannot wait to keep asking you, understood, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Atma ka swabhav is Gyan Darshan. It did not realize this Gyan Darshan swabhav and make it Anant Gyan, Anant Darshan. So, it is surrounded by all karmas. It is conditioned by the karmas and the kashai. And it has a body and it has all these different stages of the body. And it considers these stages as its own. It considers. It understands. That is the wrong understanding. That is Mithya Darshan. Okay. Now come to the next part. He says that this Gyan Darshan Pravarti, no, in the bondage beings, the Gyan Darshan are channelized through the Indriyas. Are channelized through the Indriyas. So he wants to safeguard the Indriyas. If the Indriya is weak, he considers himself as weak. When we will be moving towards our deathbed, the Indriyas will become weak. Maybe we'll have ear machines, we will lose our eyesight, we will lose our teeth, we will lose our energy to walk and talk, and everything will go. Eventually, see, our life is, when we are born, no, it is a rising sun. In the youthhood, it is at the peak, 12 o'clock, midnight, afternoon. Now we are in the sunset time. And slowly the evening, the night time will come. The darkness of death will come. At the time of darkness of death, will we have the lamp of spirituality burning in us? If it is burning, then your next life will be a enlightened living. Otherwise, it is with Vishay, Kashai, you're dying in desire, darkness, the next life will be of darkness. So we have this Upanishadic prayer, no? Lead me from untruth to truth. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. So who is going to lead you? You yourself have to lead yourself. First, understand the truth that you are Sat. Then the darkness of ignorance will go. Then the cycle of death will go. This is my interpretation of the Upanishadic prayer. We have grown up singing this prayer in DAV. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. You get me, dear? Okay. So now very important part we are going to look upon. We have only 6 minutes. I don't know how much I'll be able to do. See, this chapter is a never-ending chapter, dear. I want you all to study. Come with your questions. Come with your doubts. I'm only going to do 2-3 pages, and then I will be giving you all the Gandhar. Each one has to do one paragraph. Understood? Each one has to do one paragraph. If you don't understand, call me. I'll give you the explanation. You explain that in the class. Okay. How I'm teaching each and every para, like that you are going to do this Gandhar chapter. Okay. You are going to do Gandhar from this chapter. So what he's telling is that Gyan Darshan is channelized through Indriya. Indriya don't have Gyan Darshan. Your eyes don't know they are Indriya. They are eyes. The ears don't know they are ear. Who knows that this is ear? This is eye. The knower and seer is your Atma. Okay. So he says that these 5 Indriya are me. Because your Gyan Darshan is channelized through the Indriya, you consider the Indriya as you. And whatever is happening through them, you will think that they are doing it. Okay. And you will have love for the indriyas. The desire to keep your indriyas intact is deep rooted in all the jivas. Desire to keep the indriya matlab body indriya intact. Yeah, let her be. Yes. Now, why this is happening? Because of the delusion inside. Because of the unawareness of the reality inside. Now the indriyas are there. Now these indriya are like the 5 horses. The body is the write down if you want. The body is the chariot. This is from the Bhagavad Gita. The body is the chariot. The 5 horses are the 5 indriya. The reins. And wo jo lagam hai.
Ma'am, you
They
gave this
are
example in last
the-
class, ma'am.
Huh?
Last class you gave this example, ma'am.
I gave the example. Okay. They
Yes,
are
ma'am.
the man. And the person who is holding the reins is the buddhi, the intellect. And the person sitting inside is Atma. Now that Atma is sleeping, it is given in the hands of a buddhi that is dusht and brushed. That is dusht and brushed. It has no control over the senses. It has no control over the senses. Now all these senses want their sense objects. They are going in 5 directions. What will happen if all the horses break loose? No sayam, no self-control. They break loose. Then the chariot will go and fall in a ditch. And who will suffer? The person sitting inside. He won't reach his destination. First of all, whenever we travel, we fix our destination where we want to go. Likewise, we have to fix our destination where we want to go in the spiritual world. Only then the real yatra will begin. Only then the real yatra will, the real journey will begin. The real pilgrimage will begin. All of you go and read the book, The Pilgrim's Progress by John Milton, I think. He was blind and he wrote such a marvelous piece of literature he's written. Okay. So you'll be wondering, Priya ma'am is crazy. Kabhi ye, kabhi wo, kabhi kya, kahan se kahan leke chale jate. But everything I try to connect it for you, you know. Okay. So he wants to keep his indriya intact. Why? Because the desire to enjoy the pleasures is there. The desire to know, the desire to see is there. He is not happy in being a knower and seer. He wants to know the whole world. The desire is there. Okay. So and all the indriya want to have their sense objects so that he can enjoy them. So he considers enjoyment of sense pleasures as happiness. He considers enjoyment of sense pleasures happiness. The more I have of them, the more happy I will be. They have given the example of the dog and the bone. The dog eats the bones. The bone is hard and stiff. The dog's teeth are not so hard. And as it bites, the teeth, the gums will bleed. So the taste is of the blood that the dog is having. But it thinks it is the taste that's coming from the bone. But there is no taste in the bone. So listen to me very carefully. Whenever we enjoy the sense pleasures, are we not knowing that we are enjoying? So the enjoyment is coming from the knowledge, knowing, and not from the pleasures. The dog is the Atma. The gums that are weak is the blood. That is the Gyan Swarup. And the bone is the sense pleasures. So we are getting happiness from the Gyan. Gyan mein Anand hai. But we don't know. We think it is coming from the sense pleasures. So that is called Mithya Darshan. Yes, this little girl has got something to show you all, you know. Bata, kya batana? Kya batana? She opened this page, you know, and she's enjoying it. So she's come to share it with all of you. बस अभी मोक्ष मार्ग प्रकाशक पढ़ने में टाइम जाओ 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 बेटा जाओ गो Go, 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 go. मम्मा को बता दो, जाओ मम्मा को बता दो. चा मम्मा को बता दो. चा मम्मा को बता दो. Namush is showing you something. Okay, sorry dear, sorry for the interruption. It's 10 o'clock. So I started 15 minutes late. So can I close by 10:15? Will it be fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, it is in the state of agyan. That agyan is the cause of its suffering. That desire and that eating the bone is not the cause of suffering for the dog, for that jeev. Enjoying the sense pleasures is not the cause of suffering. Not knowing that Atma se anand aa raha hai and thinking that Indriya Gyan se anand aa raha hai, that is the cause of our suffering. And the sooner we get rid of this illusion, the better it is for our spiritual development. You can't give up enjoying the sense pleasures at this stage. You are not a Muni. You are a Grahast. You are a Mithya Drishti. First, correct your understanding, correct your vision. Then your charitra will be corrected. Then one fine day, perfect charitra will blossom. One fine day, perfect. One fine day means another one bhav, finally. But first, the determination should happen. Is it clear, friends? Okay. So there is no taste in the Vishaya. Now, considering that there is taste in the Vishaya is called Vasana. The craving, the ignorance, the deluded mind, which goes behind the sense pleasures, that is Vasana. Now, what is the meaning of the word Vasana? Craving. Okay. If I analyze this word, Vasana, in which there is no Vasa of Bhagwan Atma. That bhav is called Vasana. There is no awareness of Bhagwan Atma. That bhav of the jeev is called Vasana, whether you are enjoying the sense pleasures or not. If you don't have awareness of the pure soul, no, only juice. She won't have milk. Juice bhi bahut mushkil se. After ragi, make or give her pear, apple, or wait. Okay, give her water, chai. Then maybe she doesn't want, leave her. Don't go after her, leave her. I don't know, dear, you take care. Okay, so understood this. Now it doesn't know that I am Anadi Anant Gyan Atma. It is unaware that I am Anadi Anant Gyan Atma and I have the potential of Keval Gyan and to know the whole universe. Swapar. It is not able to experience the Nihi Keval Gyan. The word they have used is Nihi Keval Gyan. Nihi Keval Gyan means Anuman mein Keval Gyan. In our Anuman, in our inference, we are not able to establish the Keval Gyan Swabhav Atma. Keval Gyan Swabhav Atma, we are not able to establish. So we have the desires, we go behind these pleasures and think, oh, I saw this drama, I did this dance, I had this Pepsi, I had this cola, I had Rasagulla, I had chapati, I had this. Are Atma never had anything of these since Anadi Kal. I touched this, I enjoyed this, I experienced. You did nothing other than Gyan. But you have got an illusion that you did this, you did that, you can do this, you can do that. Okay, so everywhere, Indriya Gyan, Indriya Vishaya, Moha is only operating, and this causes the Avaran on the Gyan Darshan. This causes the obscuring on the Gyan Darshan. Now he says, so this Gyan and Darshan is conditioned. Now what you have, now next part. He says, the desires are endless. Trikalvarti Vishayon ko I should know. I should grasp, I should enjoy. I should touch everything, I should enjoy everything, I should see everything, I should smell everything, I should know everything. Okay, this much of desires are there. See, my English may go for a toss when I'm translating. Don't worry about that. Okay. So much of desires are there. This much is wrong English. But how much is the Shakti in the Jeev to enjoy? Do we have the Shakti to go for trekking 10 mountains? Do we have the Shakti to enjoy all the food that is served in a feast, 100 items? Do we have the Shakti to buy all the things available in the mall? Do we have the Shakti to enjoy all the things that are available? Let us say you have the money. Do you have all the Shakti to enjoy? See, for the past 2 years, Corona, 200 saris in your wardrobe. I don't have 200, maybe 40, 50 are there. Anything that we have worn? Any jewelry that you have worn? What Shakti you have to wear them and go and open in the Corona time? Nahi hai Shakti. But the desires are unlimited, but the Shakti to enjoy according to those desires is very, very, very limited. And by the time you enjoy one sense pleasure, another pops up. You are trying to fulfill one desire, the other desire remains unfulfilled. That is suffering. And you are trying to fulfill one desire, but you are nurturing so many desires. So that state is suffering. Now, you have the desire to see and know everything, but that will get fulfilled only when you have Keval Gyan. So work for Keval Gyan. Okay. Now he says that the Kshayopsham Gyan we are having, the Kshayopsham Indriya we are having. Because of that, our desires can never be satisfied. The more Kshayopsham you have, the more desires you have, the more suffering you'll have. So you have to have the first correct understanding and have the Kshayopshan of Darshan Mohaniya Karam. Have the Kshayopsham of Darshan Mohaniya Karam. That will come only because of the Upsham of Mohaniya Karam. You and I are in this class because there is Upsham of Mohaniya Karam. You don't have the desire to go to the mall and go for globetrotting, go here and there. So all the desires are checked right now. Now you have to increase your Kshayopsham of Mohaniya Karam. Then your desires will be arrested further. And your Gyan and Darshan will become purer and purer. More Mohaniya Karam and Gyanavarniya Karam, Atma ka Gyan and Mohaniya Karam are inversely proportional. More Mohaniya Karam, less Atma Gyan. Less Mohaniya Karam, more Atma Gyan. Provided your Darshan Mohaniya Karam is checked. Okay. So now because of the Moha, Nimitta, not cause, Nimitta. The Indriya want to have their desires and the Akulta is always there. Now, this anxiety is so much that even death does not stop you. For this in Uttaradiyan Sutra, 32nd chapter, the example of 5 animals is given. The similar 5 animals examples are given in this paragraph. Write down animals. Elephant, attraction for touch. A she elephant is made to sit. A dummy she elephant is made to sit. The he elephant wants to come and enjoy. And a pit is dug. It falls in the pit. It is so tempted. It doesn't think, how can a beautiful she elephant come from nowhere in this part of the jungle? It does not apply its Gyan. It gets carried away by the temptation. It is caught and it suffers. Second is of the fish, the bait. In the bait, they put the flesh or the food, fish food. And that fish is so tempted for the taste, it gets caught in the net. The third example is of the bee. The bee is so attracted by the sense of taste, that it gets stuck up in the lotus flower. It is eating the parag, the pollen. And then it is about to be sunset. It is supposed to fly out. It doesn't fly. The temptation keeps it over there. And the flower closes. And in the night time or in the evening time, the elephant comes and uproots the flower. The bee is inside the flower. Till morning, it dies. of suffocation. Then they have given the example of a firefly, patanga, because of the sense of sight. It falls, its wings are so tender, sight, roshni, light, and it falls in that fire and it dies. Then deer, example, ear, music, the sense of sound. The deer, they play the music, enchanting music, and it has the desire to listen. It goes and searches, it dies. And even kasturi mrig, smell. Kasturi mrig, from the nabhi, the smell is coming. It thinks it is coming from outside, it dies. So each and every creature, because of one temptation, they meet with this downfall. We as human beings have 5 senses. How much of temptations? What kind of temptations we have? Globetrotting, buying clothes, buying jewelry, going to different hotels, being on mobile, gaming, using technology, using the apps, all this dark net world, OTT, any end to our desires? To our limited desires. Now more channels, more desires. Then again more OTT. Then God only knows what again next is going to come. Yes, dear. Okay, dear. So likewise, because of these desires, the jiva is what to say? He goes behind earning the material wealth so that he has more access to these material pleasures, and then he dies, and then what to say? They go through this. Even in human world, they go through the pain of hellish kind of world. You know, all this mining and all. No, these laborers, they go through hellish kind of pain, and they keep nurturing these 4 desires. Understood? With this, I would like to stop. And here they are telling Indra and all also are suffering. And this much only I have done in Friday's class. So I will do only this much here. We'll continue next week. And I will, after a while, I'm going to divide and give you all the assignment for Gandhar. You all are going to discuss and we'll finish this test. Okay, dear. Thank you. We'll stop. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी Can I have the 3 takeaways from today's class? 3 things that you have caught your fancy.
Ma'am, today, earlier sessions also you talked about, supporting Jain businesses and those kind of things. So I was not fully convinced why, or fully didn't understand why you are saying that. But today, after you explain the rationale behind it, how this helps another person who can be in this path, who can practice this path without worrying about his livelihood, so that he will also get his Janavani. I really understood why you are saying supporting these businesses or supporting only this group of people who are in this path. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
One second. No, I won't take. Second person, dear.
Ma'am, I just realized how much of work is left. You said that we are all studying now because there's a upsham of our Moniya karma. But then even if we have a Shayopsham, it only increases our desires. And so what we have to aim for, our objective should be the shayak of the karma. And for that's a very long way off. And, I just realized how difficult that path is going to be and how long it's going to be. But one has to just work towards it. That's what my takeaway today is, ma'am.
Shobha madam, our objective should not be kshaya of monia karma. That's a byproduct. Our objective should be right understanding by which the mithya darshan gyan charitra will go and by which the monia karma kshaya will happen. She's feeling sleepy.
Yeah, I understand that the root causes of desire should be, annulled, and the rest of it is the process that happens.
Yes. So the right understanding of reality will take care of everything.
Yeah. No, but
Okay.
I'm just thinking that how long this journey is, and one birth is not enough, right?
Okay. I will detach, dear. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Jai Jinendra, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Jai
Thank you,
Jinendra.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Happy
Thank you, ma'am.
Independence Day, ma'am.
I would like to extend an invitation to all of you for the Independence Day celebration in my building.
With the breakfast, madam.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Oh, wow. Arre, wow.
We'll be there in spirit.
Yes, 1 second. I would like you all to look at this.
Janda. Wow. Har Ghar Ke. It's flying so beautifully.
Shobha madam.
Hello, madam.
Abhay sir.
Hello, Abhay sir. Happy Independence Day.
Happy
Thank you,
Independence
same
Day.
you. Happy Independence Day. Actually, tomorrow is the yesterday I hosted the flag here with Frida
Yeah, ma'am invited us.
yesterday for the 3 days like that.
Yeah, with the breakfast she invited.
Yeah, once in I'll give.
You can
Nice
listen
to see you.
to music, Shobha madam.
Yes, ma'am.
You can listen to the music. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, madam.